So, like I try to be positive as I can be during some of these stories and things like that. But the real problem for me is the fact that at the end of the day, Microsoft really seems to kind of hate their own gamers, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because I feel like Xbox does have a lot to offer in terms of, games and things like that. I think, the Game Pass stuff is doing incredible right now, and I think that, Microsoft is probably on a roll in the software front that they've never really experienced before. But I also feel like they've maybe not done a good job of making sure that like their gamers and things like that have things that they want to be excited about in terms of, hey, I'm glad I bought this console and things like that. I think that's the big problem going forward. So maybe Microsoft will be able to change that in the future. But for right now, it's really frustrating as a fan to see that Microsoft has to kind of go through this, and that Microsoft has been a little bit weird with how they've kind of handled some of these things. But at the end of the day, maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe people are gonna think one thing or the other. I'm not really sure, but I want to get into this because this really goes to show, in my opinion, just why Microsoft seemingly hates their fans. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that. It helps out a lot. And you know what? It means a lot to me personally. So if you guys could do that, it would be great. I'm doing daily gaming content. So, if you guys are looking for a fun yet informative channel, here it is. And, like I said, it's awesome to be able to do this now. And I mentioned this a little bit ago, like to some people this might not seem like a very big deal, but to me it's like a fairly big deal. And I just don't understand it as an Xbox owner, because at the end of the day, Microsoft has given Xbox owners a console with a disc drive. So here's the interesting thing. Gears of War Reloaded was announced. It's coming to, PC, is coming to PlayStation. It's obviously my favorite Xbox franchise, or it was. Xbox fans haven't been really taking the news well, as it furthers the narrative that Xbox is on the way out of the console game, and now a new reveal about the game's physical version is making matters worse, as Microsoft has been a bit shaky with its support of physical releases, with games like Forza Horizon 5 and The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered being digital only. But it appears as though Gears of War Reloaded will thankfully get a physical version. However, not every platform is supported, as Microsoft seems to be skipping a console that you'd naturally assume that they would support. See, that's what you get for assuming, right? You make an ass out of you and me. Anyway, according to this video game retailer, first spotted by a Reddit user, Gears of War Reloaded is getting physical versions for both PS5 and PC, but not Xbox. It claims currently only has notifications for PS5 and PC versions and links to listing on the website. So Xbox exclusives are now a thing of the past, as Gears of War prepares for a PS5 launch, and it looks like we're not going to be seeing much in terms of physical releases on the Xbox, which is weird, because when I mentioned this the other day on X, I said, it's such a slap in the face that they're doing this, and somebody goes, oh well, Xbox owners are overwhelmingly digital or whatever, but yet they're doing it for PC, which is way more digital. Like it doesn't make sense to me. It's completely weird, and the way that Microsoft kind of goes about these things is just something that it's hard to abide by. It's just like you sit there and you think, oh, what's Microsoft going to do next that really kind of ticks you off or whatever. And I think this is one of those things, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it from sort of a perspective, but it's like, why would you treat everybody else better than you treat the people that actually bought your platform? And that's, I think, the ridiculous part, and the part that gets people ticked off the most. And hopefully at the end of the day, Microsoft maybe decides to change their mind or whatever, because there's no way that an Xbox game, right, should be better on a PlayStation or a Nintendo, or have better features, or treated better that way. So you know what, yeah, it's like, to me, it's crazy to see that. And at the end of the day, hopefully it's something that they kind of get a better deal of anyway, like a better idea that this is not a thing. So this basically means that a game made and published by Xbox is skipping a physical release for its own console, which sounds like a completely bizarre decision, but is an indicator as to where Xbox's priorities are at a moment. Of course, it's worth noting that the PC releases are exceedingly rare these days for physical, but are a bit more common in Europe, so it's possible Game and Xbox are catering to Europeans with the listings. It's very possible with territories that have more Xbox users may see a physical release, but no news on that front, only PS5 and PC as well. So yeah, it's crazy to see that, and I know some people are like, well, just wait for the official announcement or whatever, but to me it's just like, when you see stuff like this, it really just kind of shows you where Microsoft's head's at, and exactly kind of what they're doing, and why I think that this is something that they probably should go back on or whatever. It's like, I get it, like with some of the games, you have a PS5 Pro, you're going to support it, and so those games might not end up looking as good on or playing as good on Xbox. But it's like, also, you sold people a console with a disc drive, and then you're not going to offer your own games in a disc-based format. And I get that a lot of people are digital these days, but let's just say, for fun factor, that Xbox has sold 28 million Series X and S units. At least half of those, if not more, are Series X. So let's just say 15, 16, maybe even 17 million are capable of playing a disc, and you're going to just take away that option for all of them. And I think that's nonsense, and that's really, I think, the problem that I have the most with Microsoft right now, is that it seems like they hate their own console gamers, and that's really an unfortunate situation, to say the least, because I think we obviously we need more than one console, and that's something that I feel like the gamers kind of are going to, obviously, some of them are going to rush to the side of Microsoft and kind of defend them, which I don't understand that kind of aspect. It's like, how does defending Microsoft for this stuff do anybody any good? I'm just like, as a fan, it really doesn't do anybody any good. So hopefully, they can get something going where the fans can end up looking better, at Xbox or whatever. It's just like, at least give us equal treatment to to the other platforms. I feel like that's like something that should be a gimme, but they don't really do a good job with that. And hopefully they can get out there and maybe change some minds and things like that in the future. I just like, give us the same stuff as you give PlayStation. It's like, damn, we bought your console, they didn't. They made fun of you guys, and they get all these extra games and stuff, and it's just crazy to see the way that this kind of stuff has kind of happened. And I just hope that things kind of change a bit to where they can be a little bit more competitive there or whatever. Because despite what a lot of people think, it's like, for me anyway, I look at some of these kind of announcements and I just think it's crazy how Microsoft used to actually be competitive, and they used to actually go out there and kind of try to fight against PlayStation, at least somewhat, you know what I mean? Like, have some kind of belief in yourself, and it's just like weird to me, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of crazy to see how these kind of things are kind of happening. As like just an Xbox fan, it's just unfathomable that this is happening. And I do hope that Microsoft kind of sees the light here and changes their mind and does something, because to completely forget about the gamers that basically did everything that they could and backed you guys and did all like the guerrilla style advertising for you guys when you were refusing to do it for yourselves. It's really crazy to kind of see how some of these are, you know what I'm saying? So I hope that things can change, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's on Microsoft if they're going to go out there and kind of make things equal for the people that spent on their hardware. But again, at the end of the day, I don't really think that that's going to be the way that it's going to be. I don't think they actually care about the fans. So, I guess we'll see. How do you guys feel about this stuff? Let me know. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Crap Gamer out.